topics and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the host and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Churchill said, "Those who fail to learn from history are condemned to repeat it." Kevin Hallinan believes that certainly applies to business. Welcome to Winning Business Radio, here at W4CY Radio. That's W4CY.com. And now, your host, Kevin Hallinan.
Thanks, everyone, for joining in today. I'm Kevin Hallinan, and welcome back to Winning Business TV and Radio on W4CY.com. We are streaming live on Talk4TV.com. That's the number 4. And, of course, we're streaming live on Facebook, and that's at Winning Business Radio. And we will be available, as we always are, in podcast form after the live show on whatever platform you go to. YouTube, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple, again, wherever you go, we are there. The mission of Winning Business Radio and TV, as regular listeners and viewers know, is to offer insights and advice to help people avoid the mistakes of others, right? You heard the intro. To learn best practices, the how-tos, the what-tos, the what-not-tos, to be challenged and hopefully to be inspired by the successes of others. Who are those others? They're consultants and coaches, advisors, authors, founders and owners and entrepreneurs. They're people with expertise. But, you know, virtually every successful person I've ever talked to has had some form of failure in their lives and careers. So while we all have to get our knees skinned once in a while, I'm driven to keep those scrapes from needing major surgery. Let's endeavor to learn from history so we don't repeat it. I've spent the better part of my career equipping businesses to grow, from solopreneurs to small and medium-sized companies, all the way up to the Fortune 50. I've seen some of those companies win, and to varying degrees, I've seen some of them fail. I've had the opportunity to rub elbows with some of the highest performing people around and with some who probably should have found other professions. And in my own businesses, I've had lots of success, but some failures too. And I like to think I've learned a lot from those experiences. So yeah, you'll hear some of my opinions, but really you're going to hear from guests. And today is no exception. My guest is friend and fellow Provisors member, Jeff Heather, founder and principal of Northlight IT. Here's his bio. Jeff Heather founded Northlight IT in 2000 as a boutique managed services provider in the Boston area that handles IT and cybersecurity for law firms and professional services firms with 30 or fewer employees, where every hour counts and downtime is just not just inconvenient, it's expensive. Jeff and his team manage the IT so clients can handle the work that actually pays. He built the practice around a conviction. IT done right shouldn't belong exclusively to big firms. Smaller firms deserve the same quality of IT partnership that large organizations take for granted: support, strategy, and security, and yet they rarely get it. A systems thinker by instinct, Jeff favors repeatable playbooks over one-off fixes, and he spent his entire career turning the messy, high-stakes part of running a firm's technology into something predictable. He's seen what happens when firms put IT in the back burner. Client data is at risk. Ransomware attacks hit with nothing to recover. Billable hours disappear into a breach no one saw coming. He's also seen what happens when firms get it right. Fewer headaches, stronger security posture, and technology, I love this statement, Jeff, that gets or stays out of the way. With 25 years across enterprise and small business environments, Jeff has spent his career at the intersection of technology and business strategy. And I love his tagline, Northlight IT, an IT partner you can swear by, not at. Jeff earned his BS, get ready for this, in aeronautics, aviation, aerospace science, and technology from Bridgewater State University. It's not like it's rocket science. ... Jeff's married to Tracy since 1995. They have 3 adult children: Kennedy, who's 29, Mackenzie, 27, Matthew's 24. They have a 3-year-old grandson named Beckett, and Isla is their Australian Labradoodle. I'm going to try to say this one right. Alice is a Sheepadoodle, and Ted's a tabby cat. Jeff grew up in Easton, Mass, and now lives in Freetown. Jeff, welcome to Business TV and Radio, and thanks for coming.
Thank you, Kevin. I'm thrilled to be here. I've known about your show and been jealous of all of the amazing guests that you've had on over the years, and I am honored to have finally made the invite list.
Another amazing guest. That's how I view it. So let's talk about the important stuff. Tell us about Tracy.
That's the important stuff,
right?
Yeah. After 1 years or so now, it is still the love of my life.
That's awesome.
When I see her car pull into the driveway at the end of the day on the way home, my heart still pitter patters with excitement.
Your tail wags.
That's right, tail wags. So
I love that.
I'm a lucky man. Was able to marry well above my weight.
Same. How'd you guys meet?
Well, I'll tell you what. If you ever meet her, she'll tell you the story. So I'm going to short circuit it.
Yeah.
Take the bite out of it. We met in college, and what happened was I was in a class with her best friend, and I wanted to date the best friend.
I love it.
The best friend was involved with somebody already and said, you know what? I think you'd really get along well with my friend. And she introduced us in
that's awesome.
Rest, as they say, is history.
So you got a referral, really?
I've been doing the networking thing for a long time.
That's right. We have a little controversial story, but it's fun controversial, not like racy or anything like that, which I won't share, but it's just fun. I love telling the story of how we met. We met in church, basically. So tell us about your kids.
So kids, thankfully my kids all take after their mom, so they're all smart.
Oh, good.
And my oldest, we're really excited. Kennedy, she just moved back from Georgia. And she spent 8 years down there as an officer in Army Cyber Command.
Oh, thank you for that. Tell her, please.
Yeah, I will. Thank you. And so they're going from 15 hours away to 4 minutes. And the really important part about that is that my grandson will now be 4 minutes away.
That is awesome.
So that's the important thing. My middle daughter has decided in some ways to follow, I guess, in my entrepreneurial footsteps, and has decided to throw away all of the expensive education that we bought.
Nice.
And, the degrees and a great job at Harvard, and decided to follow her dream and open a bookstore.
And, yes.
That soft launch
in Salem, right?
Last weekend.
How did it go?
Up in Salem, Mass. Yes.
Yeah.
And it was fantastic. There was a line 10 deep for several hours long waiting to get into the store. So off to a great start.
Yeah, I was going to say bookstores are a dying breed. So if she can do it, people want still, lots of people still like to go in and touch books and hold them in their hand.
Yeah. Well, and in fact, she did come up with a business plan that, I read through, and I made her show to a couple other provisor folks to vet. And it does turn out that the niche bookstore, and this is a niche fantasy horror bookstore, Salem, after all. Yeah. The niche bookstore thing is really becoming a thriving business. People are longing for bookstores again, but not necessarily the big box stores.
I have an author that I may want to connect her with.
She would love that.
All right, I'm making a note right now. Look at this. We're not working on live TV. So before we get into the nuts and bolts, tell us about your background. I know you grew up in Shovel City. That's an inside joke. Easton, Massachusetts. Tell us about the town and let people know what it was like to grow up there.
Sure. Yeah. Before I do that, in case I get in trouble, I need to mention my son. I forgot him. And Matthew, 24. He's out of school. He's got he's got a big boy job. He's working for Travelers Insurance and liking it.
Yeah, nice.
He's on month, I think, 25 of 36 that we've given him to save up enough money to get out of my house.
Beat it.
So we remind him every month that the clock is ticking. But
is he in Hartford or is he up here?
No, he's here. He's in the Bridgewater local Bridgewater office. So
Was he at the tournament over the weekend?
no. In fact, he was with me over the weekend. We were at a couple of car shows.
Because right in Middleton, I used to have a client right there. They would all close that day and go to the Hartford.
Yeah. He was down there for the big, the big onboarding training and all of that. Yeah. So Easton.
Yeah.
Easton was a great place to grow up. I was born in Cleveland. Thankfully, my parents got us out of there.
I'm going to say sorry, but yeah.
Yeah, I know. And
listen, no offense to Cleveland. It's just a joke. Okay.
I'm allowed to say because I was born there.
Yeah.
And moved to Brockton, Mass, and then moved to Easton shortly after that. And Easton is a wonderful place for people to grow up. I mean, we had Borderland State Park. I spent countless hours at Borderland State Park growing up. Still go back there, just for a walk or whatever. And the architecture hard to beat. H.H. Richardson is amazing. The Oaks Ames Hall and the library. If you've never been to the library in Easton, it's worth a visit because it's beautiful, stunning.
And Oliver Ames is the guy, right?
Oliver Ames. He sold a lot of shovels during the early wars.
Yeah,
and I think it was World War II is where he made all of his fortunes. And therefore Shoveltown. And the Borderland State Park has that was his home, his estate. And they still have a big house there. A really neat thing they do every year at this estate. At least I think they still do it. They did it for a long time. Really neat old stone mansion. And on Halloween, you can go in and they do like a candlelight reading of Edgar Allan Poe. And it's really great.
That's cool. Yeah. We'll have to try that. All right. What were your early interests? And I want you to combine that with rocket science.
Well, my early interests, I have to admit that this stems from, a really intellectual place. But I grew up watching Tom Cruise fly around in fighter jets. And so I desperately wanted to be a Top Gun in high school. That was my deal. That's cool. So here's the interesting thing. Not a lot of people know, but I was not a great student in high school. I tended to want to have fun more than study. And the only reason that I ended up graduating high school was that I had two teachers who gave me D's to pass me because they said they didn't want to put up with me again next year. And so my very humble beginnings were actually Massasoit Community College. And my dad would always like to say that I was the biggest turnaround, he said, since Lazarus.
That's a high bar.
Yeah, right. So I matured, I guess. Got my head on straight, and finished with high honors and all of that from Massasoit. Went on to Bridgewater. It was really because I was aviation. I was really between Embry-Riddle and Bridgewater.
Okay, yeah.
I wasn't quite ready to go away yet. I was still maturing a bit, and at least I was smart enough to know that if I went away and away from parents and church and all of that, I might have gone astray. So I stayed local, went to Bridgewater, did the aviation thing, and it was interesting because right around the time when I was going to be graduating, I knew that I couldn't be a Top Gun because I had talked to all of the military people. And they had said, because of my past, my colorful past, let's say, and which potentially included some run-ins with the law, that nobody was going to let me fly around in $30 million airplanes. And so I figured, well, maybe I'll do, private aviation. And that was around the time when Bill Clinton was taking office and military cutbacks were happening, and getting flight slots was getting harder and harder to get. And so I said, I'm going to make a pivot here. And I went into aviation management instead. So, I came out with all of the flight skills and all that, but a management degree. And my first little bit of a career was in airport management. And I was in Midland, Odessa, Texas. And then I was up in one of my favorite places in the whole world, up in Lebanon, New Hampshire.
Oh, yeah. That airport that comes right over the highway, right?
Yeah. And it's just such a beautiful place up there. But it was between those two things that were, it was a fairly short-lived career. I decided that aviation is a much better hobby than career. And so, I called my dad. I said, hey, Dad, I don't think this is really working out. Can I come home for a little while? And, thankfully he said, yeah, of course, come on home for a little while.
Yeah.
And so, we talked through some things about what directions I might want to take. And my dad was also an entrepreneur, so he had his own company. He started out working for IBM, and then he went on to the Jet Propulsion Labs, worked there for a little bit, and then went out and started his own business that is at least related to what I do in IT. And, I was thinking about all the things that I did and loved. And really the technology is the thing that I always loved about aviation. I really loved all the technology around it. And it's where I learned that I had what turns out to be a fairly unique skill, which is I can easily understand technology and relay it to people in a way that humans can understand. Yeah. Not just technology people. And it, that was, I guess, natural to me. And I didn't understand that it was, a really nice combination of skills. And so, my dad had some contacts, again, networking. He had some contacts, got me in touch with one of the managers at my very first corporate job with International Data Group. So IDG, they're the folks in Framingham who do the, for example, the For Dummies books. And back in the day, they did the Macworld show and the E3 Expo, all of those. So I started my very first job in technology, and it was very glamorous. I literally changed the paper feeders for the big accounting, the big accounting paper feed printers that were going 24/7. Yep. And I changed back when backup tapes were like big Hollywood looking reel-to-reel tapes for a DEC VAX way back in the digital days. And then slowly started to work my way up until I got up to a pretty good level over 7 years up in the corporate IT structure, and loved IDG, loved all of the people, loved my job, felt like my soul was being sucked away slowly by corporate life.
All right, pause on that. We're going to come back to that thought in a minute. We need to take our first commercial. We'll be back in 1 minute with Jeff Heather.
You're listening to Winning Business Radio with Kevin Hallinan on W4CY Radio. That's W4CY.com. Don't go away. More helpful information is coming right up, right here on Winning Business Radio.
Bestien Wealth Management is family-owned for 2 generations. They take pride in thoughtful financial planning and wealth management with a family feel for your closely held family business. Bestien Wealth Management focuses on deep planning, integrating your business planning with personal. They will help put your money to work and your mind at ease. Go to bestienwealthmanagement.com for more information. Advisory services offered through Commonwealth Financial Network, a registered investment advisor. Join the Bestien family and let our family advise your family. That's bestienwealthmanagement.com for your complimentary initial consultation.
Have you ever dreamt of being on the radio? Well, now is your chance. Be a radio show guest on the #1 ranked internet radio station and promote you and your business for free. Yes, you heard it, free. Business advertising right here on W4CY.com. Call 561-506-4031 now to get booked on one of our shows. That's 561-506-4031. Get your free advertising now.
And now back to Winning Business Radio with Kevin Hallinan, presenting exciting topics and expert guests with one goal in mind, to help you succeed in business. Here once again is Kevin Hallinan.
We're back with Jeff Heather. He's your guy you can swear by and not at. Jeff, tell us more about your soul being sucked. No, the situation at IDG, of course.
Yeah, it was really, I don't know what it was. I think it was the mind-numbing sameness of it all every day, regardless of how much I loved the people in the place. The same every Monday morning, coming in and saying hello to the same people and talking about the football game the same way. And, just day after day after day, and I think it was, the bureaucracy of big corporate life.
Yeah.
Just, it was so, opposed to my nature. And eventually it just got to the point where, one day I told my wife, we had my oldest, I don't think was a year yet. She was around a year. I said, I think I'm going to quit my job.
Which was welcome news.
Yeah. And go start something on my own. Well, the amazing thing, and I still give her credit to this day. I'll give her credit till the day I die.
Yeah.
She didn't flinch. She said, now's the time to do it if you want to do it.
That's great. Wow. Yep.
And so, I did, and took that, what you hear over and over again from people who have left corporate life to start something new, took the big first year pay cut, because I went from, reasonable income, steady paycheck to nothing. And it really helped me appreciate Ramen Pride noodles and Hamburger Helper a lot.
Hot dogs, yeah.
We did a lot of that for a year.
Yeah.
But the nice thing is that there was a little bit of a soft landing, because at the time, IDG let all of the different publications run as what they call different business units, and they could make their choices on whatever. And so they didn't have centralized IT either. The corporate IT was all to support the corporate functions of the accounting and all of that.
Yep.
And so all of the people I had spent building relationships, it's almost like relationships matter, Kevin. I don't know. Right. All the people that I had spent all that time building relationships with said, oh, well, we still want to deal with you for our IT. Can we hire you to be the IT for our business unit?
Outstanding.
And of course I said, yes, please. So it was really nice because I had sort of an immediate client base that at least helped put food on the table.
Yeah.
So did that for a couple of years, brought on more and more of the business units. I started to take over a lot of the local IDG world for clients. And then, lo and behold, people would leave. And then they'd say, hey, I'm at a new place. Would you be interested in talking to us about doing IT? So we started to get some non-IDG clients.
Mm-hmm.
And it got to the point where, that every starting entrepreneur hopes to be burdened / blessed with, which is that I was too busy. I had no time to sleep. I had no time to eat. I had no time to do anything but work. And so got to the point where I had to make, one of the scariest decisions of my life, which was bringing on help. Absolutely a terrifying proposition, because I was an IT guy. I was not a manager really. I didn't think of myself as a business owner at the time. So really, did some hand wringing over that for what turns out a lot longer than I should have. And
probably a lesson in that, right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I tell every entrepreneur now, everybody who's starting out that is in that same, geez, I can't get everything done, but I don't know if it's time to hire someone. It's that. And when you fire somebody, I always tell people the time when it's right is when you first ask yourself, is now the time?
That's good. That's good.
Right. That means, yes, do it for both of those situations.
So I'm guessing that hire was a technical person?
It was, yes. Yep. Technical person to help go out and, crawl under desks and plug things in and, fix servers. And so that went amazingly well. It was, I guess I got lucky that I hired somebody great, because I didn't know how to hire someone at that point in my career. And they turned to that. He's still with us.
Wow.
He is that's
outstanding. That is so unusual.
He's our CFO now. And he's amazing, absolutely amazing. And, because I stumbled upon this amazing hire, things went amazingly well. And soon after that, we were able to hire again and then hire again. And before I knew it, I was at the point where I could actually take a vacation.
Ooh, I love that. Yep.
It was amazing. I will never forget that first time I was able to go away, with my own business and know that the world wasn't going to end because I wasn't there.
I saw my father not do that. And that's one of the decisions I made was, now there've been seasons, right?
Yeah, sure.
With where I am right now, it will be a few month season of that, but we're still going to go away. I just got to take some work with me. But I watched my father do that, and I said, nope, not doing that.
Yeah.
It's hard on everybody.
It is. And I didn't know it at the time. But that was, I wasn't nearly mature enough. Not that I'm very mature now, but I wasn't nearly mature enough from a business perspective to understand what that meant. At the time was that I was slowly shifting away from being a lifestyle company and becoming more of a process-oriented company that, in fact, could at some point in time become sellable. I understand now that it's very important that I'm not the limiting factor to the company, and I'm not the important component for a sale. Not that I'm in the market at the moment, but My business partner and I, which is part of the journey, my business partner and I both agree that we never wanted to have a lifestyle company. We want something that, should we ever choose to sell it, is going to be sellable.
Therefore, and I'm going to get into this, the quote was, you figured out you were a natural systems thinker, right? You think in terms of systems, which is critical for selling a business. I mean, I'm in the mode where it's probably a 10-year run for this practice that I've been in, for 25 years. I just, as you know, just bought, and I've probably got an 8 to 10-year run. I'm going to scale, and it's not going to depend on me.
Right.
I know I'm the bottleneck, and that's why I said this next few months is there's a little bottleneck at the moment, but that's fine. That's what it has to be.
Yeah.
So tell us what it means to be a systems thinker and how that happened. Maybe you don't even know.
Yeah, I think, I think thankfully I was blessed with a little bit of it being inherent in just who I am. And, I still, to this day, we come across countless other IT companies, especially, one-man shops who are just freelancing. And maybe that's a good way to frame it, to juxtapose it, is we get these freelancers that we run into every once in a while. And it usually is because somebody calls us and says, we think we've outgrown our IT.
Yeah.
And we want to look at something professional. It's almost always one of these freelancers who, when somebody needs something, they just put something in place. When somebody needs a new computer, they look on, whatever, Best Buy to see what's on sale.
Right.
And they will get that. If they need a component here or they need a component there, they just plug holes. And things run until they don't. And the way that we approach things now in sort of that system-oriented, process-oriented mindset is there is no just hole plugging. Everything is part of a whole. So when you need a new computer, you don't go and you look at Best Buy to see what the latest thing is on sale and end up with 87 different makes and models of things that then become impossible to support. You want everything to be vanilla. That is our goal with all of our clients, is to have their IT be as dead boring as possible.
As you said, keep it out of the way.
Keep it out of the way. I always say we should be like, your IT should be like an NFL official. If you don't know we're there, we're doing our jobs. Things are running smooth.
How come you didn't say WNBA?
There's a lot of good memes going around, though. Point, right? I can do the point.
Caitlin Clark getting beat up every night. And I didn't see a thing. I know. Sorry. Left turn. No, I know what you mean, though. Yeah. It should stay out of the way. It should be vanilla. I love the word vanilla for that purpose.
Yeah. Vanilla and boring. And, we tell all of our clients, what we want you to have is something that, should you decide that for whatever reason you don't want to partner with us anymore, or we decide that we don't want to partner with you anymore, any other professional IT firm off the street can step in and say, yep, see it all. I know exactly what's going on. Let's do this. Because, if it's so complex that another firm would come in and say, I don't have any idea what these people did, this is crazy, then it's not right. It needs to be as dead simple as possible, totally process oriented. You have a new client or a new employee. You send us the request. We have the forms. We need to know, all of their important information, what they're going to be doing, their role, the start date, all of these things. It starts the process. We know we're purchasing exactly this model of system. We don't care if the price fluctuates month to month, because You shouldn't care about that as a business owner, whether it's $300 more or $200 less on this any given month. What you care about is that you're equipping your employees to have an absolutely flawless environment where everyone knows that it's going to work. Because that, $200 savings getting a deal at Best Buy is going to go away in the first 15 minutes that you lose in billable hours because your person's not working, because your computer's not working. So we buy licenses. We know we're going to do this. We know that the onboarding is going to happen this way. And even more importantly, using that example, when an employee leaves, the offboarding happens according to a very precise workflow, because the worst thing, it would make us go away very quickly, like end your business. If we missed something and we didn't turn something off and then it led to a bad thing happening, we would rightfully get in big trouble for that. So it's those little things, and it doesn't have to be, really exciting workflows and processes. Something is mundane is user onboard and offboard is a great example of something so vanilla, but so important that it needs to be done right.
And that's why the system works. All right, let's pause on that. We're going to take our second commercial. We will be back in another minute.
You're listening to Winning Business Radio with Kevin Hallinan on W4CY Radio. That's W4CY.com. Don't go away. More helpful information is coming right up, right here on Winning Business Radio.
Bestien Wealth Management is family-owned for 2 generations. They take pride in thoughtful financial planning and wealth management with a family feel for your closely held family business. Bestien Wealth Management focuses on deep planning, integrating your business planning with personal. They will help put your money to work and your mind at ease. Go to BestienWealthManagement.com for more information. Advisory services offered through Commonwealth Financial Network, a registered investment advisor. Join the Bestien family and let our family advise your family. That's BestienWealthManagement.com for your complimentary initial consultation.
The YP.com website is your local search engine. If you're looking for a good restaurant, it can help you find the right one nearby with ratings and reviews. Or if your car breaks down, you can use the YP app to find the closest repair shop. Or maybe you're just looking for something to do on a Friday night. Well, it has great local coupons for all sorts of things in your area. No matter what, when, or where, if you're looking for something, YP Local Search can help you find it. So go to YP.com or download the app to search local, find local, and save local.
And now back to Winning Business Radio with Kevin Hallinan, presenting exciting topics and expert guests with one goal in mind, to help you succeed in business. Here once again is Kevin Hallinan.
We are back with Jeff Heather, founder and principal of Northlight IT. Jeff, you mentioned, and I'm aware, but you mentioned that you like to work with smaller law firms and professional services firms. What was behind the decision to focus? What were you smoking to focus on smaller firms? Sorry about that.
It's been a long time, Kevin.
Don't worry about the dogs.
Well, really what made us focus on the small law firms is I personally and my business partner, we've spent most of our adult lives building and running a small firm. We hear it all the time. These IT firms that will say, "Hell yeah, we can support anybody from 5 to 5,000."
Yeah.
Those are very different animals. Very, very different. If somebody is a shop that's going to support 500 or 5,000 employees, they're not going to be terribly interested in the amount of money they're getting from you to support 5. So I always find that, there are some great shops out there, don't get me wrong, but I always find that to be such a weird thing to say. We support the small because we understand it. We get being a small firm. We understand the limitations, the challenges, the opportunities, great opportunities. We can shift very quickly, and over and over and over again, throughout my career, I've seen these small firms that just can't get the help they need. They need the help. A CPA firm or a law firm is a CPA firm or a law firm. The information is just as confidential whether you have 5 employees or you have 500. But with these smaller firms, because everybody's looking for the big whale clients, they want those big recurring numbers. Nobody ever really wanted to touch them, but those are the people that I resonate with. I love. I mean, that's my, why I get out of bed in the morning is because I'm excited to work with other firm owners like myself that, just from a business to business perspective, I actually don't really care that much anymore at this point in my career about technology. Technology doesn't excite me. Business excites me, and helping other business owners, other firm owners be successful excites me. It's just that I have a particular expertise in technology that I can help apply to them. And so working with them is, we always say we're really friendly and we play well with others, but we don't want to work with your IT people. We want to be your IT people, because a huge part of the value that I think we bring is the ability to talk firm owner to firm owner about business in a way that we actually understand what we're both talking about. I talk to our clients and other firm owners all the time about non-technology things like how's EOS implementation going for you?
Right.
And, all these different things that only a firm owner would understand. And because we understand from that perspective, it gives us the ability to much more successfully sort of apply the solutions to them that are right. Because the solutions themselves for a 5,000 person firm are different than a 5-person firm. And you need to understand the difference.
You mentioned the messy high stakes part. What does that look like? What's messy high stakes part of running a firm?
Yeah, well, it's
running a firm's technology. Sorry.
Well, yeah, I mean, running a firm in general is messy, and from a firm owner perspective, every day is high stakes because this is your life, this is your baby, and especially it's only getting worse from the high stakes perspective. When you start thinking about all of the cybersecurity things, it's one of the areas that I both love and hate to talk about, because I never want to scare anybody into doing anything. But at the same time, some people need to be scared into doing some things because they're just not seeing it. And, these days, one person doing one wrong thing one time can mean the end of your business that you have spent, your life building. And so there's really high stakes when it comes to that kind of a thing. But, just in general, you layer that on top of Kevin, what it's like to own a small business, and, every day you're fighting for that thing to get a little bit better. And that there are all these messes out there. We're stepping around HR issues and IT issues and all sorts of things that we understand. And we at least from the IT perspective, we want to make that part of your life not messy.
And as you said, boring and vanilla.
Boring and vanilla. If you can't sleep at night, it's not because of your technology.
I love that. Are you doing much with AI yourself? Are you helping clients use AI?
Yes, and yes. Using AI a lot. It's very much a part of my everyday.
Can you provide some
It's
examples? We all do research, right? Maybe how to
sure,
write
yeah.
a
I mean,
letter, email, or yeah.
yeah, some research, some things
Yeah.
like that. I do. I personally use it because my role is not technical
hmm
anymore.
hmm
My role is business development, and so I use the technology to do all sorts of things like take my meeting notes. So everybody's got a meeting note
Right.
taker these days.
Right.
We use a meeting note taker that's super high security, and that's why we use it. And we are standardized on Claude,
hmm
not necessarily because it's the best, because they all have their place. And I have Claude do things that I don't like to do that are very boring for me, which means they don't usually get done or they get done poorly.
hmm
So it'll take my meeting notes, import them into my CRM, update the CRM notes, help me formulate next steps, keep track of next steps. Hey, what
hmm
are oh, hey, you're a week late on a follow-up email to this person. Um, Running weekly reports for me to look at, for my
Yeah.
business partner to look
Yeah.
at, for the operations team to look at, so they can see
hmm
what new potential onboardings are on the horizon. I hate doing those things. And that is a very appropriate use to me of AI, is taking the mundane things that, don't require any kind of human thinking to do.
hmm
They're just busy work,
Yep.
and making those better. Um,
And are you helping clients do the same?
yeah, we are. A real majority of what we're doing right now with clients is still talking to them about the security ramifications
Yes.
of
Yep.
AI.
Yep. They say AI never.
Um,
You hear all the time AI never sleeps, right? So
yeah,
yeah.
never sleeps. And for example, when Claude Cowork came out,
hmm
all of our clients were saying, "Hey, can we just?" Was the thing we kept hearing. Can we just turn that on? And so we would have to point out that doesn't mean what you think it means. If you look through all the notes of what Claude Cowork is telling you, if you enable this, you're giving it administrative privilege to all of your data. It needs that in order to do its thing. It needs to see everything to do what it's doing. Um, are you accounting for the fact that you have just released this thing in your environment that can run autonomously, or from somebody's phone? They can set things to run on your office systems or in the cloud overnight while you're all sleeping. Do you want this beast churning through all of your client information and your information without somebody watching it? And even take it a step back, something like a Copilot. If we're going to deploy Copilot, which we are helping people do internally, so within your guardrails, you're not really all that worried about it getting out.
hmm
But what happens when somebody goes into Copilot and says, "Hey, what are all the firm principals earning every year? What is my coworker earning every year? Can I see all of the HR reviews for all of my coworkers?" If that stuff is not all secured internally properly, AI is going to do its job and find every gosh darn thing that it can find and report
So
back.
that goes to, again, it goes to systems and processes and thinking through all that up front, right?
You have to do all of the
Yeah.
important base work before you open that Pandora's box.
Yeah.
And so it's almost frustrating, but it's good. It's also good because I know that people aren't seeing it. And so
Yeah.
it makes me feel good that I'm helping them see it, that, nobody wants to understand the foundation before, buying the shiny toy. And we're helping people see the foundation and put the proper foundation in place so that the shiny toy isn't a shiny toy. It's an actual dull, vanilla productivity tool to help you move forward.
All right, last question. We are out of time, unbelievably. Who in the listening audiences and viewing audiences should reach out to you, and why?
Well, the folks that we really most enjoy are law firms and professional services firms with fewer than 30 employees. We do have clients that are outside of that. Those are the people, if you find yourself there, the people we hear from most. And if anybody in the audience, if this resonates with you, please feel free to reach out. Anybody who has a guy that they think they've outgrown, please feel free to give us a call. We have found, without fail, if you have a guy that you've worked with for, a decade plus, you probably have most things not right in your environment. If there's a huge consolidation going in the IT world, if you had a provider that you loved for years and they just got bought and you don't love them anymore, you can give us a call. If you're starting a new firm.
So here's the number, 781, listen carefully, 781-297-7590. It's Jeff at northlightit.com. It's that simple. Jeff at northlightit.com. You can visit his website. Phone number one more time, 781-297-7590. Jeff, thank you very much. This has been fun.
Thank you for having me, Kevin. I've really enjoyed it.
You got it. I will see you soon. And thanks everybody for watching and listening. As you know, this is a show about business, both successes and challenges. If you've got concerns about the sales effectiveness of your company, whether your sales team is you or it's small or it's large, and you're in Massachusetts or you were referred by one of our clients, and you'd like to learn more about implementing Sandler in your business, contact me at go.sandler.com/KJH, or you can email me, kevin.hallinan@sandler.com. Otherwise, please visit Sandler.com to find a Sandler Training Center that serves your area. At Sandler Training, we develop sales teams into high achievers and sales leaders into true coaches and mentors. We're not right for everybody, but maybe we should have a conversation. Thank you always to producer and engineer Juan. Thanks, Juan. Be sure to join us next week, Monday, July 6th. We'll have another great conversation. Until then, this is Kevin Hallinan.
You've been listening to Winning Business Radio with your host, Kevin Hallinan. If you missed any part of this episode, the podcast is available on Talk4 Podcasting and iHeartRadio. For more information and questions, go to winningbusinessradio.com or check us out on social media. Tune in again next week and every Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time to listen live to Winning Business Radio on W4CY Radio, W4CY.com. Until then, let's succeed where others have failed and win in business with Kevin Hallinan and Winning Business Radio.